Okay, now let's use the caret library to generate the same information, and we will not save it like we did in LM because it's the same answer. I just want to go over the caret library one more time, right? So to uh, run regression from caret, we have to specify um, the train control. So control parameters for train. Let's save that in CTRL and a train control function. And we're going to say, so this is one of the training parameters is how to sample, and there is cross validation methodology and then boot methodology and so on. So we're going to not use any of them, so we just say none. All right, and then we can run the regression. So let's call this car_lm.cr, cr meaning for caret. All right, and the function that we'll use for train is called train. Okay, and then we give the formula, which is price against all available variable, and we say data equal to train.df. So what this code will do is it'll take train.df and then take away price, because price is the target variable, and then use all the other variables as predictor variables. Okay, so now we specify the method of training. Okay, so method equal to linear model, and then train control, which is tr control, tr control equal to ctrl. Okay, so we run these two lines of code, and here we have the results, as you can see. So let's generate a histogram and box plot for residuals. Again, we did this in chapter 5, and we'll do it again just as a review. And this time we'll use the results from the caret model. So residuals, car res train. So that's going to come from car.lm.cr. Now for CR, the residuals are in final model. Okay, so when you use the regular LM method, then the fitted values and the residuals are in the results list itself. Whereas in caret, you have to go from this list into a second list, which is part of the first list, which is the final model, and then we get the residuals, and we need to get residuals for validate, and we have to first find the predicted values, because we have to compute the residuals for validate ourselves. So we have to find the predicted values for, okay, so let's call this car.pred.vl, and we use the predict command function car.lm.cr is where the results are, and then new data will be valid.df. Okay, and then once we have that, then the residuals will be valid.df price minus car.pred .vl. Okay. Now let's also do one more thing here for the two residuals. Let's go ahead and make them into a data frame, because ggplot requires data frame. So here again we'll make this into a data frame. So both the residuals will be data frames. Run that. Okay, so now we have the two residuals. Now we can do the histogram. So that will be like ggplot data equal to car.res.tr, and then mapping equal to AES. And since this is a histogram, all we have to do is to give the value in x-axis. So x-axis will be what is the name? Oh, it's a crazy looking name. So let's go ahead and so when we create the data frame, let's give it a easier name. We'll say residual equal to, and here again residual equal to. So that way the column will get named as residual. So here, so that's residual, and that's residual as well. So we can then say x is residual, okay, from that data set, and then we give for histogram it is stat bin, and then we can give a bin width if you like, and let's give a label on the while label. We'll call it training, right? So let's see whether this works. Okay, so since we didn't specify a bin width, it's automatically picking a bin width for us, which is okay. Let's leave it like that. And then the valid set, so the only change we have to make is to change that to VL, and we have that also. Now if you want to put this in a grid, we already have grid extra, so we can say grid arrange, right? So close the parenthesis over here. Okay, so that ggplot comma. Okay, the next ggplot, and we have a comma there too, and then we say n row equal to 1, and that will arrange everything in one set like that. Okay, so that's the plot of that's a histogram of residuals. Then we can I'm going to copy paste this and make the changes for box plot. So the same thing, except so now we're going to say instead of stat bin, we will use geom box plot, right? Geom box plot. Okay, so same here. Geom box plot. Okay. And we run that. So now we have the box plot, except that the box plots are horizontal. Okay, so that's because in the AES we set x equal to residual. Instead, if you change that to y equal to residuals, then you will get vertical box plot.